I've had a lot of brokers ask me what my secret to success is. What do I do? How do I do it? I was generating over $40 million a year in sales every year consistently. I never paid for advertising, didn't have a park bench or billboards. I was 100% referral based and review based. Let me show you how to build a real estate business. You need a written business plan. It's simple, but you need to identify what you're going to do to generate leads and build relationships. I'm going to tell you a few of them. This is not the only way to do it, but I like a lot of these topics for beginners. Start with your sphere of influence, people you know and have relationships with, past colleagues, friends, family, neighbors, really any relationship you have. I get it. Some of you don't love calling on this group, but they will deliver the best conversions. If you are truly an expert and confident in your approach, it will be a smooth conversation and you will truly add value to this person. You have to let your sphere know that you are a broker. They literally might have no idea. And this has happened to me. One day you're scrolling through Instagram and you see your buddy John's house is on the market. You're like, what the hell? Did you ever call John and let him know values in his neighborhood or talk about real estate? So seriously, who's to blame? I promise. They will not see you as a pushy salesperson, rather a trusted broker. Additionally, people don't know we rely on referrals to build our business. So teaching them and asking them for referrals is critical. The scripts are out there. It's not that hard. Get started making calls. Eventually, these will become second nature and will be much less uncomfortable. For sale by owners. I loved calling FSBOs. I never used a hard sales approach. I would often call them, introduce myself, ask a few questions about the house, bring down their defense mechanism. During the call, I would offer a few tips and tricks to the owner. Hey, maybe you should use professional photos, or I didn't really love, the first 5 photos, maybe tweak the order of them and build rapport. Let them know that you're a professional in the business and that these tips and tricks kind of help you sell homes a little bit easier. On the third call, I would ask them if they wanted any help selling their property. Obviously, it's still on the market. See what they say. You already built a relationship based on trust and information. You didn't go in bragging you're the best broker and have the highest number of sales in the area. Nobody wants to hear that shit except your mom. I promise. When you're calling those guys, be collaborative and give information. Farming. I see a ton of people farming high-rise buildings, especially if you live in that building. I love that. Local areas and suburbs are great as well. Combine that with hosting local events at farmers markets or being in the neighborhood events. It will help build credibility. People want to work with a familiar face, people they know and trust, people that love their neighborhood as much as they do. Seriously, people are crazy about their neighborhood in Chicago. Door knocking. I absolutely think this approach works. And if you're an expert in the area, for example, you know where all the parks are, you know the neighbors, and you can be relatable when you're talking to these people, the defenses go down instantly and you can engage. If you start with, hey, I sold the Johnson's house on Park Avenue a few months ago. I'm just walking the neighborhood to introduce myself. Or, hey, my name is Matt. My family and I live on Franklin Street. I'm so proud to be a part of this community. Instantly lowering the defense mechanism, offering some friendly words. Try and connect with these people. Once you go back the second or third time, you're going to learn more about these people and be able to understand if they're a reputable person or if they're a future client when they're interested in selling and what their timeline is. Developers and flippers. I worked with a handful of these guys in my career. If you can find them projects that make sense, you will have loyal customers with consistent business. You're going to be calculating purchase price, construction costs, final sale price scenarios on dozens of properties before you even present to the client. It's work. I enjoyed this strategy because I actually love the construction aspect, walking the property during construction, strategizing with the developer, talking about finishes. It was very rewarding, but it is work. Influencers. Never had a ton of luck with these guys, but I do think it's important. Mortgage brokers probably gave me 5 deals in my 20-year career. You should build relationships with lenders, lawyers, divorce lawyers, especially insurance brokers, and join local groups. Attending these events in the neighborhood will help generate leads eventually. They all have reciprocity. And while you're probably giving out a lot more leads to lenders and insurance people, eventually they'll throw a few your way. Social media. I've seen so many cool and unique approaches on Instagram and YouTube beyond the typical walkthrough property tour. Those are getting boring. And a few people have mastered that, but it's not what everyone wants to see. One guy in Chicago showcases suburbs and neighborhoods and the highlights within them. He does a great job. Others offer buyer tips, seller tips, or other gimmicky stuff. Now that I've been on YouTube for about a year, I realize people are using information to create content, and it's not all unique. Don't be intimidated. You can build a following within your marketplace and have another avenue for generating leads. There are a few more options. And again, I don't want you to do too many at once. I love the Bruce Lee quote Joe quoted last week. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So again, repetition, become the expert. All right, you have a plan of attack. You know your strategies. How do you get to $100,000 a year? It really is a numbers game. The math is this following math is based on a 4-day work week. So we are not making crazy expectations here. Let's use a $350,000 average sale price. On average, you're going to earn about 2.5% commission per deal. So you need about 12 deals to get to this $100,000 mark. Based on typical conversion rates, you're going to need to have about 2,700 conversations per year. I know that seems like a lot, but when you break that down on a 4-day work week, it's 12 per year, 12 or 13 per year. It's not that bad. And again, this isn't 2,700 unique people. It will end up being like 300 or 400. There's going to be some fall off, but you're connecting with these people almost every single month. And it's not going to be that difficult to create a schedule in your CRM where you're generating these calls and emails so you can touch these people and create this bandwidth that ultimately gets you to $100,000 a year. Now, I've had a very high close rate. I think these numbers are very modest, okay? So these conversations should bring you about 42 appointments per year, buyer and seller combined, of which you'll end up working with about half. Again, I think you're going to work with more. So you have 21 clients. Some will end up not finding a place. Some of your listings might sell, but you are going to hit your 12 transactions per year. I promise you. Okay, lead gen is sorted out. You know how many people you have to talk to. You need a schedule, like literally a written schedule. It's on your whiteboard. You know what you're doing. 8 a.m. You need to be dressed, ready to rock and roll. That means you've got your breakfast out of the way, your workout, whatever your morning routine is, get it done by 8 and get to your desk. If you want to get to the office, awesome. I'm here seriously every single day. If there's people here working, it's just more buzz and more energy. 9 to 10, email prospecting and connections. Some of your sphere will have email actions in your CRM. This is a good time to start hitting those people versus banging calls at 9 a.m. People, if they're at their desk at work and you're making calls, they're usually busy as well. 10 to 11 is prospecting, for sale by owners, cold leads, circle prospecting, whatever you've chosen, get your reps in. This is your 1 hour in the morning to make that happen, okay? You already have some momentum built up with your emails. You're feeling like you've accomplished some things. So that time slot is really good. 11 to 12, work on your social media, your blog, or whatever email prospecting you're doing as well, and clean up whatever emails have jumped in your inbox from 10 to 11. Because seriously, from that 10 to 11 window, you're not changing screens. You're not changing plans. You're not looking at text, nothing. Lunch break, re-energize, go for a walk, and then sit back down. From 1 to 2 is more cold calling, more door knocking, or whatever you're doing to prospect. Those are 2 hours, and it's not going to be that difficult when you have them totally blocked and you are totally concentrated. Afternoon, you're scheduling appointments, email catch up. Just get out and meet with people, hit broker opens, be productive in a real estate manner. I promise if you put in 2 solid hours of cold calling, prospecting on a 4-day week, you will make money. I obviously did a lot more than 2 hours. Every top agent is punching the clock. I promise you. And as your career matures, your schedule is going to change. Your phone's going to start ringing and you're going to get a lot of inbounds, but you really have to start somewhere. And this is the way to do it. Thanks for joining and happy prospecting.